on that Monday. Start with an opening statement from Coach, and then if you have a question, same as always, raise your hand.
You know, excited to be back with the guys today. Had an opportunity this morning to review Saturday, to review Penn State. Certainly some opportunities for us to continue to have conversations about what this team's capable of. The challenge moving forward is what this team can truly be capable of when it finds a way to play a full 4 quarters. When we do that as a coaching staff, as a program, we can talk about 2 quarters, fast start. There's plenty of positives to pull from, but at the end of the day, our guys prepared in a way that they expected victory. They expected to go in and compete and find a way to beat Penn State, even though those on the outside certainly didn't expect that. The group in that locker room did, and was certainly very, very disappointed with the result. Specifically the way that we closed out the game in the second half and in the fourth quarter. And I think that's the thing that we need to continue to challenge ourselves on is there's going to be people that pat you on the back and say, "Hey, that was a great first half." Well, we prepared to win a football game, prepared to play a full 4 quarters or however long it takes, and I think that gives us an opportunity as a team to continue to take full ownership in our performance and continue to take full ownership in the things that we need to continue to improve upon. Moving forward and turning the page. Our guys will return this afternoon. We'll start to install our game plan for Howard. Great opportunity for us to be playing back at Ryan Field on homecoming, against a very good football team. A team that's scoring a lot of points right now offensively, battled their tails off against a good Eastern Michigan team. And, we're going to have to be at our best. We're going to have to be at our best this afternoon. We're going to have a great week of preparation. The standard has been set in terms of what that's supposed to look like, the urgency and the detail that needs to go into that. And, I've challenged myself. I've challenged this group, moving into this afternoon and moving into the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, into Friday and Saturday morning, that we make sure that we embody that and put our best foot forward and ensure that the best version of this team shows up on Saturday.
Coach, do you have any update on Ben Bryant's injury status, and if he can't go, will Brendan be the starter on Saturday?
Not specifically. We're what I can tell you about Ben. That dude is tough. He's gritty. He's a warrior. He's going to do everything in his power to get back to full health and be ready to play. Not sure what that looks like in terms of timeline by Saturday. If Ben weren't able to go. As of right now, would anticipate Brendan going, just in terms of Brendan's earned that opportunity. He's played well in his opportunities to come in and spell Ben. But as of right now, we're moving forward, anticipating that Ben will be ready to go.
And just as a follow-up to that, is there any consideration with playing Howard, an FCS opponent, and then having the bye week? Is there any consideration to letting Ben have almost 3 full weeks to prepare and get healthy before going on the rest of this Big Ten West stretch?
That's a great question, but to answer very directly, absolutely not. This is a darn good football team coming in here. Maybe it's my background, coming from Division II and FCS, but you can put whatever letters or numbers next to a team's name. There's darn good football at all levels, and we look at this opponent the same that we would look at any opponent, an opponent that's plenty capable of giving us a run for our money and beating us if we don't show up at our best. So we'll put our best foot forward.
Coach, kind of going off that big emotional game against Penn State, now you have an FCS opponent and a bye week. How do you keep the team staff focused and locked in and don't get them looking ahead?
Just continue to remind everyone how critical every single game and every single opportunity is. Challenge the group coming off of Minnesota. An emotional high. Emotional high is really hard to come off of sometimes. I thought our guys handled that for the most part really, really well. Well, now we're coming kind of off an emotional low. A good first half, we're in a game, we're in a battle, and then, the way things played out in the second half, our guys were we're frustrated and not satisfied with the result. If anything, we should have a group that is more hungry than ever to go play our best football. And again, you will not hear me once refer to our upcoming opponent as anything other than a really good opponent that we better be at our best at. So I promise you, in these walls, there's no mention of FCS. This is a team that we better strap it up, bring our urgency, bring our edge, and be ready to roll.
Right. Well, I'm going to mention it one more time. When you're at North Dakota State, when you were preparing teams to go up against FBS opponents, what was your message to them?
Yeah, our message, was consistently bring on the competition. And it didn't matter who we were playing. That was a message to our team about, bring our best. You bring our best on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then, make sure that carries into Saturday. It didn't matter if we were playing, the Chicago Bears or, a D2 school that, was coming into the Fargo Dome. Bring on the competition and show up at our best. So, that was the message from us coming at the FCS level. I'm very confident that I have a firm understanding of what that level of football brings week in and week out, and it's darn good football. Those guys are on scholarship. There's a lot of NFL football players that are roaming around FCS schools, and I think I'll have an opportunity to make that very clear. Pulling from my experience at North Dakota State.
Coach, you have 5 games under your belt as a head coach at the Power 5 Big Ten level with homecoming coming up, a lot of alumni coming to this game. Do you feel like you had a chance to reflect that it's not just the newness of being a coach, but you're fully ingrained in this moving forward?
Opportunity to reflect, no, probably not. But what I will mention, there is a great deal of gratitude from both Kristen and I, and just from the support for our players, for our staff, the people that we're doing this with. It's pretty neat, with our team this morning, talking with our leadership and talking with our team. I think where they felt tangible support day in and day out is from obviously, their parents and their teammates, but the outpouring of support from former Northwestern football players, the alumni, what those men have meant to, the guys in our current locker room is just words can't express it. And I think this is an opportunity for us on homecoming as a team to just honor those that have worn the uniform, worn the jersey, and walked in our shoes.
Coach, you talked about Sullivan earning the spot, right? Can you talk about how'd you evaluate his play on the game Saturday and just moving forward?
I think it was, in typical Brendan fashion, it was tough, it was gritty, it was, doing whatever he could to just keep battling with his team. I know, the last play, or not last play, but the interception is a choice and a decision he'd love to have back. But what I can tell you unequivocally, without a doubt, is, I've spoken about the quality of that room as a whole from the start. I've spoken to the fact that Ben Braun is our starting quarterback, but the depth that exists in that room with Brendan, the leadership that exists with Brendan, what Ryan Holinsky brings to that room, the leadership that Ryan brings to this football team, what Jack Lausch has done for this offense in terms of his versatility. Regardless of how this moves forward, we're anticipating, expecting Ben to be able to go, but regardless of how that plays out moving forward, very confident in Brendan's ability to step in and help this team go win, and very confident in that room as a whole in terms of their ability to prepare to get this team to a point where we can expect great execution and performance out of the quarterback position.
Coach, what have you seen from Carmine Bastone this year, and what was it mean to you to see a former walk-on player playing this high-level football at the Big Ten level?
Yeah, no, I think Carmine embodies so many of the qualities that we value here at Northwestern, for many reasons. High academic, engineering major, understands what this degree from Northwestern will do for him, the next 40 years, not just the next 4. Toughness, perseverance, great teammate, willing to, step up with courage and coach other guys and hold other guys accountable. And I think it speaks to what we want to continue to build here. We want to recruit, high-end, high-character young men that want to come to Northwestern. They're willing to walk on. They're willing to, put a lot of time, effort, and energy into maximizing their potential and with hopes of earning a scholarship. And Carmine has done just that. I mean, that's pretty special, and we need to continue to lean into that for this program to continue to go to the places that we want it to. There's a long history of that here at Northwestern, of young men that have earned scholarship, that have come here as walk-ons, and Carmine is just such a great example to point to of what needs to continue to happen here.
Coach, Jack Olson is off to a perfect start this year on field goals and extra points. How much does it help a team to have a consistent kicker, and what are your thoughts on his performance so far? Really
proud of his performance. Again, another young man that has earned opportunity. Another young man that it hasn't been the easiest path for him. Dealing with some nicks and bruises along the way since he arrived here at Northwestern. And I think he just brings a great deal of confidence to this team, to myself, to Coach Jenick, and to the offense as a whole, in terms of knowing that if a drive does stall out in the red zone, that we're not coming up empty-handed. With his consistency, we can be very confident of trotting him out there and expecting to come back with 3 points.
You've had 3 different players with Jack, Henry Helms, and Luke Akers handle 5 or more kickoffs. What's the thought process on rotating guys through that role?
Part of it is just kind of who's got the hot foot, in terms of who's kicking well. Part of it is just splitting the load with multiple kickoffs at times and handling field goal and PAT duty that can start to potentially wear on a guy. Location of where we're putting the ball is such a critical piece of that as well. But there's a lot of factors that go into that in terms of Coach Jenick and my decision with that. But with some of the explosive quality that Penn State possessed on special teams, we really felt like Luke was going to be a weapon for us with kickoffs, and really proud of the way that he stepped in and carried on that load throughout the rest of the day.
Coach, your offensive line has a lot of the second most pressures in the country, and that's kind of broader than just Saturday against a really good Penn State defense. Kind of a two-parter. First, is there any consideration to any changes in personnel or practice for the offensive line? And second, kind of offensive game plan-wise, you guys maybe want to strive to get the ball out quicker to mitigate some of that pressure?
Yeah, I think a huge part of that. To be honest with you, we've played around with some rotations. I feel really good about where that group is at right now in terms of the guys that we expect trotting out there as the starting group. Coach Anderson, will continue to find ways to rotate guys at times to continue to build depth and find good rhythm with that group. I really believe that it comes back to what seems repetitive and cliche, but comes down to balanced complementary football. Finding ways to stay balanced offensively. It's much easier to stay balanced offensively when you're playing, in a tie game or with the lead. And at the end of the day, you get out in front of a Rutgers operation or a Penn State operation, these talented athletic defenses, and they have a 10-point lead, and you start to become one-dimensional as an offense. It becomes awfully difficult to be a play caller. It becomes awfully difficult to be an offensive lineman. So we just need to find balance. We need to hone into complementary football, and we need to find ways to play with a lead.
Coach, Cam Porter hasn't reached over 100 yards this season on the ground. Is there any concern there with the rushing attack, or how do you get playmakers like him more involved?
Yeah, I think it really ties back into what I just spoke to in terms of just balanced attack, complementary football, playing with a lead. A guy like Cam Porter, our running back room is going to be at their best. Our O-line is going to be at their best when we can find ways to be up, 2 scores in the third quarter, control the clock, run the football. All of a sudden, Coach Bajakian has the entire call sheet available to him. I mean, that's the brand of football that we have to strive for and continue to push for. And so much part of that is not just the offense or not just the running back position, not just the offensive play caller. It takes all 3 phases playing at a really high level. And I truly believe, in the third quarter against Penn State, a couple things go our way with a 4th down conversion or a fake punt, and we stay in the game, start to wear that opponent down a little bit. you see a little bit more of that balance moving forward. The situation we got in, being down by a couple scores, it went the other direction. But it really comes down to just balance, complementary football, and finding ways to lean on guys like Cam Porter and the rest of that running back room late in the third quarter, into the fourth quarter, and closing out games.
Which in a similar vein, AJ Henning only had one touch on Saturday. Jack Lausch only had one touch. Some of your more explosive playmakers throughout the season really weren't a factor in this game. How do you get those guys the ball in their hands more often to help jumpstart this offense?
Yeah, I think you go back to some of the things that we've done in previous games when those guys have been seen at their best. I fully trust that Coach Bajaki and the offensive staff, sees the same things that others are recognizing, per Penn State, and we'll find ways to get the ball back in both of those guys' hands.
Coach, you talked about some of those conversations you had with your team earlier today, sitting at 2-3 with only 7 games left in the season. Just what do you see for the trajectory of this group, and what are kind of some of the messages that you're able to share that you instilled in the team?
Yeah, no, we talked about the fact that we're, into the third game of our second quarter. Well-timed bye week right at halftime, and the challenge is to be at our absolute best this Saturday to go 1-0 this week. And if we're able to accomplish that, we go 2-1 in the second quarter. We go into halftime at 3-3, and you have a group that's got all the goals and aspirations that we have for this group still right in front of us. So it all starts with a great Monday prep and a great week of practice. Expectation is to be at our best this Saturday, but if you were to tell us that we were going to go into halftime coming off a win at 3-3, is that perfect? No, but does that give us a lot of reason to be excited and a lot of promise ahead? Absolutely.
Coach, on a side note, I asked Zach before earlier, but on top of the Howard team coming, they might bring their Howard marching band, of one of the best in the country. What are your just thoughts on hearing that, or like having that opportunity to see them? Of course, you'll be in the locker room, but even the fans to see that.
I think it's awesome. I think college football at its best. You talk about the student athlete experience, you talk about the student experience, you talk about fans and alumni. I mean, just that's incredible. To see what college football, college athletics can do for the experience of a young person, everything that goes in around it. For the overall experience, I think it's awesome. And I think the bands, the pageantry, everything that goes on pregame, at halftime, postgame. I mean, it's all part of it. It's a historic opportunity for Northwestern to be playing against an HBCU. I think the level of play that we've seen in recent years, at the both the FCS level and at other HBCUs is something to take note of. And again, you go back on the history of college football. There's a lot of strong tradition, a lot of strong history, and that's not just the young men or the student athletes on the field. It involves a lot of things that go on around the game day experience. So to have Howard's band to be a part of the game day experience, that's something that we won't be able to take in as a team, but something that I'm excited for our overall community to be able to experience.
Coach, when you're watching tape from a game like Penn State, when they have several NFL prospects, how much do you attribute some of the good or bad plays to those great players making great plays, and how much do you try to change going forward?
I think you find balance. You find balance in the fact that you tip your hat to a very talented, well-coached team, but you have to be solutions-based. Okay, they made a nice play, but what do we learn from that? How do we move forward to make sure that that certain situation doesn't happen again? Great coaching is identifying what our guys can do really well at a really high level consistently and leaning into those things. And a team like Penn State has the ability to expose some of those things. So in all three phases, those are things that we need to continue to evaluate. And then there's a great deal of excitement for us as a staff moving forward long term about recruiting young men that fit the values and the profile here of Northwestern, that we can bust our tails year round to help them develop into great NFL prospects and NFL talent. And that's been proven to be done here for a long time. There's NFL guys on our roster too, And as we go through the recruiting process, we may not be able to recruit a bunch of 5-stars right now, but we can recruit a bunch of young men that 36 months from now can turn themselves into guys that NFL scouts are coming through and saying, you know what, this guy has the potential of being a first, second round draft pick. So a lot of credit to Penn State, but we also have to learn from those and put our guys in advantageous situations week in and week out.
Coach, Howard's averaging nearly 450 yards of offense, perfectly balanced, about 225 on each side run pass. What makes this offense so dynamic, and what do you guys have to do to keep this team at bay offensively?
They find ways to use tempo to their advantage. They're balanced, do a nice job up front. The scheme definitely fits the personnel. A couple talented backs, quarterback that spins it really well. A deep wide receiver room, and you turn on that Eastern Michigan film, and I mean there are some explosive plays showing up in the passing game. They do find balance. They utilize RPOs well to put themselves in advantageous situations in the run game. It's a team that screams an understanding of their personnel, being well coached, and when they start to put the pedal down and get you on your heels, they can get you reeling. So it's going to start with us doing a good job of handling the tempo, being really good on first and second down, and being efficient getting off the field on third down.
And just speak of that passing game, one of your top corners in Interim was out this week. Do you expect him to be back on Saturday?
We do anticipate that Theron will be back.
Last question,
Yeah,
David.
one more for you, Coach. Sorry. Penn State decided to air it out a little bit with 2 minutes left. Almost looked like a fake kneel down at points. Did you take exception to that? Does it motivate a team a little bit more seeing a team run up the score at the end of the game?
It was truly, I know the way it could have been viewed. It was truly a very well constructed play action pass, good scheme, great execution by them, and I'll never take exception to that. At the end of the day, we're out there to compete. We're out there to play a full 4 quarters, and the guys at Penn State tried it out there. We're going out there to looking to execute a play and be at their best. And at the end of the day, we have to defend it. So we'll never take exception to anything like that.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a great day.